Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Just my thoughts. I'm your host, Erick Coughlin. Today's thought agenda is going to be breaking down the first preseason of the Chicago Bears. And this is what happened. So we had a really nice game Saturday. We won. We beat the Tennessee Titans 23-17, so that was good just to walk away with a week one preseason victory. And just to relapse your guys' memory for you, we actually went undefeated in the preseason just to only win three season games. So for all those haters out there are going to say, oh, it's only preseason, oh, it's only preseason. Listen, first of all, I'm going to acknowledge all of you. I know all of you exist. And here's the thing. It doesn't really matter that it's preseason because what we do in preseason is what we're going to be doing all year long as far as play calling, blocking schemes, gaps, quarterbacks, receivers running their routes. This is primarily a practice game, and we're going to get three more. I mean, that's just the way the NFL works. It always has. There's always been four preseason games, so we got three more coming. But let's break down what we did do and how good we really looked. So of course the highlight plays. If you didn't watch the game at all and all you did was look up YouTube or whatever you use for your highlights, you seen Justin Fields and DJ Moore go 62 yards for a touchdown, and then you turn around and another play later, very next drive, you see Justin Fields and Khalil Herbert go 54 yards and a touchdown. Primarily the same play. The first time was a wide receiver screen. Second time was a halfback screen. Both to the left side, which is obviously going to be our strong side. And both scored. So Justin Fields looked like a genius. He threw 3 for 3 and ended up with 2 touchdowns. So if just hypothetically, okay, if I were in a conversation with somebody, you're like, oh man, did you catch the game? I'm like, no, I didn't. What happened? Oh man, Justin Fields went 3 for 3 and 2 touchdowns. I wouldn't believe that. I wouldn't believe that any quarterback had thrown the ball 3 times and walked away with 2 touchdowns. Not even Tom Brady. Ironically enough, I watched the game Saturday, so then I know that these stats are legit. This really did happen. So that was beautiful. We all hoped that this was going to happen. We gave up a lot to get DJ Moore, and on his very first play as a Chicago Bear, he proved his money right off the bat. So that was beautiful. But so let's outside of the highlight plays. This is what we did that I thought was great. As already been stated, I thought Roschon Johnson did an amazing job. Ran the ball. I think he ran the ball a total of 9 times, 54 yards. Pretty much the entire second half, it was all Roschon Johnson. Did a really good job considering the fact that he didn't get to play with the starters. He got to play with the B team. But our B team was actually picking on Tennessee really, really bad. Defensively, though, that's what I want to talk about. So we had 8 sacks, even though preseason, I understand preseason. But I also understand this. 8 sacks in a football game is incredible. So that's a great job by the defense. They did an amazing job. And to say that, I have to say that I told you so about Travis Gibson. I told you guys that he was going to have a breakout season, and he proved it in the very first preseason game. He looked amazing Saturday. I'd imagine he's going to look amazing all year long. Like I told you, he had no help last year. Now he's got a crap ton of help. Now that he has all this help, he has an opportunity to stand out. And he did that Saturday, and I'm going to predict that he's going to do that all year long. Travis Gibson is going to be a name talked about forever. But who got a sack? Zach Pickens. I told you guys that he'd line up as a starter along with Gervon Dexter, and I was right about that because both of them did line up as starters. But ironically so, they didn't line up in between the tackles like I thought that they would. Pickens actually lined up as a defensive end, and Gervon Dexter lined it up. He did line up as a defensive tackle on the outside or opposite side of Andrew Billings, which I did not see as a starter. I thought he'd come over as a teacher and teach these guys, technique and form and how to present their power. But ironically so, I guess it's in the game plans for us to use him, and I'm okay with that because, like I said, defensively, 8 sacks. That's incredible. And here's another thing that's incredible. We took 4 turnovers, 2 interceptions, and 2 forced fumbles. So that was another thing that was really, really, really good. Things that we didn't do good last year. obviously were fixed in the offseason. I said that happened, and they proved that it did. I don't know, the numbers of how many sacks we finished the season with last year, but I will say this: I will say we never had a single game with 8 sacks in one game, so that was major. Tyreek Stevenson, or I believe, yeah, Tyreek Stevenson. I believe I'm saying that right. Um, was another standout. Finished the game with 9 tackles. Was probably our leading tackler of the game. And I told you guys that he's who I'm looking at probably being the backup for Eddie Jackson. But now it's starting to look like we're going to have to find a way to get him in the game outside of being a backup, because he made a lot of noise this past weekend. I was really, really impressed by Tyreek Stevenson, really impressed by Travis Gibson, which I knew that he had the potential in him. Also, Zach Pickens was really impressed with how fast that big guy is. Like, he's a really, really big dude, but he's extremely fast, really powerful. And here's another thing: we had some other guys that stood up and stood out through the course of last weekend. That was just completely methodical. Like, we looked like we could take over the league. Now, I understand we played the Tennessee Titans, but I also understand this. So it's not like the Tennessee Titans are a scrub team. For like the last 3 seasons, they've won their division. So, and they've been primarily a playoff fixture the last half decade. So it's not like we just went out there and played a crappy team and did really good. We played a team that's multiple times and consecutively winning their division. So great job by the Chicago Bears defense. Preseason or not, great job. Offensively, let's get back to the offense. I thought we did an amazing job. Now, here's something that kind of shocked me. We actually played 4 quarterbacks. I didn't see that happening. I'm like a 3 quarterback deep kind of guy, and with the understanding that I never want to use the third string ever unless it's through injury and I have to. But that being said, 3 of our quarterbacks look really good. Obviously, I already talked about Justin Fields looking great. But Nathan Peterman looked really, really stout. Man, he looked really good. We did not score at all the second half, but we did walk away with 3 field goals, which means what we were getting and consecutively getting into scoring position and scoring range. Thank God for Carlos Santos. He's like godsend. No more worries about what's going to happen if we can't score. As long as we can get somewhere around the 40, we have a shot at scoring, because Carlos Santos is just he's just phenomenal. He's just that good. He's like, Robbie Gold Jr. So, I mean, I'm just telling you, he really is. He did a great job last year. Looking to do another amazing, great job this year. We have a fixed, kicker. Carlos Santos is not going anywhere. So, if you didn't know that, you know that now. And don't ever look for him to go anywhere. Like I said, he's a fixture. I see him signing a 4-year extension at the end of this year. That being said, that means he's coming up on his free agency season this year. But again, don't sleep on him and don't expect to lose him. He'll be here. He'll be here for multiple years because of that position. You can get him from dog cheap, like a good solid 4 years, maybe 12 million. That might be like a major kicker contract that he's obviously going to get hands down. But here's another thing that I liked. So I liked Roschon Johnson. I just told you guys that, and I'm going to be saying that all year long. I really like his capabilities of breaking tackles. Oh, sorry about that. I have to get these glasses off. They're causing me to sweat. But anyway, so I really like Roschon Johnson a lot. Thought he did really good. I thought Nathan Peterman did a great job. I think he's going to take the number 2 spot. Here's somebody that did not do a great job. P.J. Walker was our number 2 at quarterback. He went 4 for 8 for, I think, 44 yards and an interception. His very first play went out there, overthrew the receiver straight into the defensive safety's hands. Just looked terrible. Now, next weekend, he may redeem himself. But I'm not looking for guys that are making mistakes. I'm looking for guys that are looking good. Nathan Peterman looked good. And I told you guys we played 4 quarterbacks. This other guy, Tyson Baggett. I know that I'm saying that wrong, but that's the way it's spelled. I cannot remember how they were pronouncing this guy's name. He's an undrafted rookie, but this dude looked sharp. He looked really nice. He can throw the ball really well downfield. Pretty accurate, nice tight spiral, knows how to get in and out of the lanes, knows how to get out of trouble, does not panic. did not get sacked, did not throw an interception, did not cause a fumble. So Tyson Baggett is legitimate. He has an opportunity to stick around and be that third string quarterback. If anybody has to worry about their job, now we're going to talk about that because there are some players that have to worry about their jobs. I think PJ Walker has to worry about his job. I think he has to do a very good job for the next 3 preseason games if he wants to stick around and play in Chicago because we didn't really give him significant amount of money or sign him to really a lengthy contract either. So he could be a trade asset, hands down, or not even a trade asset. He could be a cuttable asset and save us money and save us salary cap. That just happens. And I think it could happen to PJ Walker. Another guy, Velus Jones, if you guys can remember him, I hated him last year. And they say, oh, you're not supposed to hate people. Oh, it's not good. It doesn't look good. It doesn't even sound good. It sounds like you're hateful when you say stuff like that. But listen, he forced so many or gave up so many fumbles last year as a kick returner and a punt returner. It seemed like every other special teams play, he was giving up the ball. Ironically enough, this past weekend, he gave up the ball. He fumbled the ball, and it wasn't during special teams. It was during I think it was like a crossing play, maybe a quick slant, whatever, going across the middle. He forced fumble by running into Tyler Scott, of all things. So Tyler Scott's one of my guys. He's one of the guys we drafted, Cincinnati Bearcat. The guy that to me is like the future Johnny Knox. I'm really high on him, but he did fumble the ball this weekend, all on his not on his own, but all because Velus Jones practically ran him directly into the defender. And then outside of that, Velus Jones looked like he didn't know what routes to run. He dropped 3 passes. He's just not a reliable guy that can catch the ball. Rather, you're throwing to him or you're kicking to him. Velus Jones Jr. needs to get out of Chicago. If Chicago Bears are paying attention and see a weakness, like me as a fan, I'm just a fan, a diehard fan, been a fan all my life, going to die that way. I will always be a fan, but I always find guys that I cannot stand. Velus Jones Jr. is at the top of my list of guys that I cannot stand. I'd rather have an old guy that never touched the field on my roster than to have Velus Jones Jr. on my roster. That's just how I feel about the guy. Did a terrible job. PJ Walker did a terrible, terrible job. I tell you a guy that I thought was pretty impressive, but he didn't get the ball enough. Maybe next weekend, maybe we give him the ball a little extra. We got the Colts coming up this weekend. And I'm talking about Travis Homer, the guy we got out of Seattle Seahawks. This dude's like lightning quick. As soon as he touches the ball, he's already in his gaps. And with his head down, looking up the field, it's crazy, right? Because I'm like, well, how is he looking up the field if his head's down? I don't really know, but he's just one of those guys. He looked like he knew exactly where he was supposed to be on every possession that we give him the ball. Definitely shot the gaps, made his holes, got yards, could break tackles. He looked really, really, really good. And the reason why I'm talking about him is because that primarily our backs, right? So our backs are going to be Khalil Herbert, Dante Foreman, Roschon Johnson. But we've got to figure out what we're going to do with Travis Homer. I think it would be a slick and smart decision to keep Travis Homer on the roster and maybe let him be the backup to Blasingame. I think Kyrie Blasingame, I think is his name, our fullback, number 35, our fullback. I think Homer could do that. Not that I think that he's going to be great for blocking or anything like that, but I think he would be great in the flats, right? So if absolutely everybody's covered, you need a check down guy, somebody to throw a quick screen to, get up the field, break some tackles, move the chains, especially in 3rd and 1, 3rd and 3 situations, especially if Kyrie Blasingame gets hurt. I think Travis Homer has a home with the Chicago Bears. I thought he did a really, really great job. Like I said, I didn't think he got the ball enough. That's how much I liked him. I liked him a lot more than what I expected to like him. So that is a good sign for the Chicago Bears. We have secret weapons. I think Homer's going to be a secret weapon. I think Travis Scott has all the potential to be a secret weapon. I don't think that we used Cole Kmet enough this past weekend, but you better believe that he's going to be there all year long. Another secret weapon. He really come on, especially the second half of the season, trying to make his money, and he did so. If you guys don't know, I'm telling you now, we re-signed him 4 years, 50 million, so he's not going nowhere no time soon, and it's well deserved. Maybe underpaid, and I think he's going to prove that. I think he's going to prove that he was probably worth a lot more than 50 million. We got him for dog cheap because I'm telling you, when you're 6'5", 6'6", you are a dead ass target for the red zone, and I think that's where he's going to shine the most. We're in the red zone. We're 20 yards out. We're 18 yards out. We're 12 yards out. Cole Kmet is going to be that guy to get the ball to him. And if it's not him, it's going to be Chase Claypool, someone who didn't really get enough playing time, like I said. But this is preseason, so the starters are always not getting enough play time. It's primarily for players that are trying to make the team, and that's what preseason is really all about. Really, it's all about the younger guys that we really find out what they can do under pressure and how they perform in a real live game. And that is the glorification of having preseason. And so, for all those who say preseason is not important, you're not a real fan, because preseason really is important, especially to a team that's rebuilding. This is the second year of our rebuild. We have nothing but youth. We drafted 10 players out of the draft this year, and I've been saying it, and I'm going to continue to say it. All 10 of those guys will play, whether it be special teams or whether it be, a team. Because, like I said, Darnell Wright's going to be an 18 player. Zach Pickens proved this weekend he's going to be an 18 player. I think Gervon Dexter Jr. is going to be an 18 player. I think Tyreek Stevenson has proved enough in one preseason game. I think he's proved enough that he might be an 18 player. We might be ridiculously wrong if we don't find a position for this guy. And maybe, I hate to say this, but maybe he becomes our strong safety. I don't know. I mean, I really like Jabron Brisker. He led the team in sacks last year. I have no beef with Jabron Brisker at all. But I like Kyler Gordon as well, and I love Jalen Johnson as well. And Eddie Jackson is the man. So, I mean, there is a question like, where do you put that guy? I really don't know, but I don't think special teams is it, because I think he's too good to be on the special teams. Not that he could be a linebacker, so that's out of the question. Not that he could ever play on the defensive line, so that's out of the question. So we have questions like, we have so much talent. What are we supposed to do with it? It sounds crazy when you got 10 rookies and you're talking about all the talent that you have. But the truth is in the pudding. He proved it. Like I said, he might have been our leading tackler this weekend. 9 tackles. Fast. Ball hawking. Probably 3 pass deflections. He might be one of the ones that got the interception. We walked away with 2 interceptions and 2 forced fumbles. So, and 8 sacks. I mean, so Tyreek Stevenson, he deserves a shot. Like I said, expect to see him and expect to hear his name. If he doesn't start, he's definitely on the B team. He's definitely going to be like the backup for any DB. Okay, so like, this is going to sound crazy and stupid, but this is how talented he is. For whoever wants to come off the field, Eddie Jackson wants to come off. Jabron Brisker wants to come off. Kyle Gordon wants to come off. Jalen Johnson wants to come off. I don't care. Whoever needs to come off, you better bet your sweet ass Tyreek Stevenson's going in there. Like, he's going to be the backup for like 4 different positions. And I'm not exaggerating at all. That's how good he was. Really, really, really good. So that brings up the question, outside of the defense, like, how impressed was I? Very impressed. Like I said, we didn't score any touchdowns in the second half, but we scored 3 field goals, which was 9 points. Thank you, Cairo Santos. But thank you to, Tyson Baggett, who put us in scoring range. Thank you to Nathan Peterman, who put us in scoring range. Thank you to Roshan Johnson, who ran the ball for 54 yards in the second half on 9 carries. That's good numbers. I know it sounds crazy, but he almost had 100 yards in just half of a game. Roshan Johnson's the man. Probably deserves to be the backup number 2 B player. I'd say I didn't see enough of Dante Foreman to say that Dante Foreman's even better than Roshan Johnson. Dante Foreman might get demoted to be the backup to Blasingame, and then so Homer becomes the 3rd string or whatever we need. And that's what we're probably going to have to realize is we've got so much talent that guys are just going to have to play wherever they're available. So if Homer needs to run it out of the background or backfield as the halfback, that's fine. If Homer needs to run it, on a fullback, dive 3rd and 1 on the goal line, Blasingame's out, Foreman's out, you got to keep a guy like Homer who did a great job. So, again, so Tyreek Stevenson impressed me. Travis Homer impressed me. I think obviously I think Justin Fields, DJ Moore, and Khalil Herbert impressed the world. I don't think no one expected us to go in there and Justin Fields be 3 for 3, 2 touchdowns and massive yards too. I think it was like 154 yards because he had a 12-yard hookup with Blasingame, who I've been talking about, who I'm not ragging on. I like Blasingame. He's the man. 35 is going to start next year. How you doing? But then, like I said, the 64 and the 52. So it's like 124, 100. I should have looked that up. Pretty much 130 yards in the air on 3 passes. Come on. And I didn't have to worry about being impressed. I think the whole world got impressed by what the A team had did. Um, so that being said, how good are the Chicago Bears? Highly, highly underrated. That's how good they are. Like I've been saying, I think we can be a 12-5 team. We could secretly be a 13-4 team. Worst case scenario, still winning the division, 11-16. Like the skies, we are definitely going to win this division this season and next season and the year after that and the year after that. Because here's the thing: now that we've accumulated a team and we're going to have to make money to keep this team, but we had already did so. What are you talking about, Eric? I'm talking about that everybody that we brought over on multiple year contracts. That means TJ Edwards signed a 3-year deal, so we don't have nothing to worry about for a little bit. Terrell Edmonds signed a full 4-year deal. Nothing to worry about for a little bit. Justin Fields is going to get the bank this year coming off of his rookie contract coming on to his extension. Justin Fields is going to be at like $154 million quarterback for 4 or 5 years, whatever the max extension is. He's getting max extended this year as a defending division winner and going into the playoffs. We're going to get a lot of bonus money this year. You can bank on that. And then here's the other thing too. Like we're going to save money on certain players. Like I said, Velus Jones Jr. might be going out the door. PJ Walker might be going out the door. Your old vets, you're going to let your vets just walk because it's about regrowth. It's about rebuild. It's about youth. So any of the veterans, which are not many left at all, but for any of them that are left, you just go on a bank. If they've been in the league 8 or 9 years, they're gonna save us money. They're going out the door. We don't want those kind of guys. We want guys that's been in the league 4 or 5 years, or draft guys, or guys that have only been in the league 1 or 2 years and didn't make contract extensions, but did really well for their respective teams. Things like that are going to happen. You don't just build a team in 2 years. You have to understand that. And it's really not even expected for us to win the Super Bowl or make playoffs. Like after year 3, year 4, year 5, after you're committed to that rebuild, that's when people expect results. We're going to be given results way before it's due, which is going to generate a lot of bonus money. So that's great for the Chicago Bears. It's great for the city of Chicago, and it's great for everyone who calls themselves a Chicago Bears fan, whether you live in Hawaii, if you live in California, if you live in Florida, if you live in Chicago, if you live anywhere you live. Hell, you can live in the Everglades. I don't care. If you call yourself a Chicago Bears fan, you have all the reason to be proud and be happy and be ready because we're going to take the league by storm. See, here's the thing. Everyone's expecting that Minnesota's going to win the division. Everybody's expecting Green Bay to not really be that good, but to be better than what's expected. They can make the argument, oh, Jordan Love's been on the team for 3 years. Oh, he's learned underneath Aaron Rodgers. Oh, he had a great preseason, because that's probably going to happen. Full disclosure, I watched Green Bay for that reason. I wanted to see what Jordan Love looked like, and he did look pretty good. But again, this is preseason. You can look good in preseason and not do so hot. That is the reality of NFL football. So we don't really know a lot about Jordan Love. And then the big speculation is how good are the Detroit Lions? Well, I'm going to go on and tell you, they are pretty fucking good. I mean, they're not okay. They're pretty fucking good. I think that they're definitely going to be the second place team. I don't think this is Minnesota's division anymore. I think it's going to be the Chicago Bears in first place. I think it's going to be the Detroit Lions in second place. I think it's going to be the Minnesota Vikings in third place. And then I think it's going to be the Green Bay Packers in dead last. And that's where they deserve to be after winning my fucking division pretty much every year for 30 damn years. They deserve to suck. It's time for us to take this division for at least a decade. at least a decade. Like I just said, for 3 decades, it's belonged to Green Bay. Now it's our turn. I hope it stays our turn for a very long, long, long time. You know what they say, hopes and wishes, only happen in dreams. Well, call me crazy, but I feel like I have a dream team. So I must be asleep because what I've seen this weekend was fucking phenomenal. It was great. And it's going to be great all year long. So anything that I did not cover, that special teams, let's cover that for a little bit. Like I said, we did not look good special team wise. And here's the reason why. We gave so many people different opportunities. Tyler Scott was back there. Velus Jones Jr. was back there. We also used, I think, one of our backs were back there, but it wasn't Travis Homer. Maybe it was Roschon Johnson. Maybe we put Roschon Johnson in a punt return situation a couple of times. So we really didn't get a good look at what we're going to do special team wise. But outside looking in, I'm gonna go on and tell you, I think it goes to Tyler Scott. I don't think it goes to Velus Jones at all. And if it doesn't work out with Tyler Scott, I think Roschon Johnson can be that guy because he's lightning fast. And like I said, I've said this before and I'm going to say it all year. The guy is a cannonball. He has a special talent to make people bounce off of him, which is what you need in a kick returner and a punt returner and special teams. Let me tell you something. For many a years, now this is years ago, 2005, 2006, 2007, even 2003, for many years, our strongest asset as a Chicago Bears team was our special teams because of Devin Hester and because of the kicker that we had, Robbie Gould, and because we had, even if a lot of people are going to tell me I'm crazy, but we had great blockers. We had a great blocking scheme. We had a great special teams coach. It was a huge part of what we were and what we did. And I think we're going to get back to that. I think Tyler Scott has an opportunity. And if he doesn't, Roschon Johnson will. And that, again, will be a glorious situation. It's a third of the game. Statistically, you got the offense, you got the defense, and then you got the special teams. Like that is what makes up a football team. So you better believe that you better have something figured out, and you better have a game plan, and you need to make up trick plays. All that happens, and it used to happen a lot in Chicago, and I think it's going to happen a lot now again. Matt Eberflus is a really, really, really strong head coach. Stronger than what people even probably expected. We probably thought this guy was going to come in, suck, and we'll catch a new coach next year because that's what's been happening to us, right? Well, what are you talking about? I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about. So Lovie Smith was our head coach for every bit of, I think, 13 seasons, right? As soon as we lost him, we picked up a Canadian guy, Mark Truxman, just to show you guys that I know my history. So Mark Truxman come over for a year. We lost Mark Truxman. Then John Fox come over for like 3 years. Then we lost John Fox. Then Matt Nagy come over. Matt Nagy was there for 3 years. Then we lost Matt Nagy. Now we're on Matt Eberflus. So, and he come over last year. So everyone's like, what is going on? I think Matt Eberflus is the answer to what is going on. Not that, and I think that, not that I want to call him a copycat, but I think he's done his research and his history on how well we did in the 2000 era underneath Lovie Smith, and that is exactly what he's rebuilding. What? I said he's doing everything that Lovie Smith has done. Think about it. Lovie Smith brought us guys that could catch the ball, like guys like Earl Bennett and guys like Brandon Marshall and guys like Devin Hester and Johnny Knox. Now we have that again. Now we have Cole Kmet. Now we have DJ Moore. We drafted Darnell Mooney. We got Chase Claypool. We're playing a 4-3 defense. Guess what defense we played underneath Lovie Smith for 13 years? We played a 4-3 defense. We had phenomenal linebackers. What are you talking about? I'm talking about Brian Urlacher. I'm talking about Lance Briggs. I'm talking about Hunter Hillenmeyer. Now, guess what? We have phenomenal linebackers. We have TJ Edwards. We have Terrell Edmonds. We have Jack Sanborn. Everything that Lovie Smith did in the 2000 era, hello, Matt Eberflus is doing that right now. So that being said, this is definitely a strong candidate to be on our team and run our team for a very long time. And I hope that happens because I'm telling you, even though I don't care what it sounds like, even though we were 3-13 last year, we lost 9 of those 13 games, 1 possession games with almost no talent. So, like I said, buckle down, get ready and be ready. Be prepared for the playoffs, first of all. Be prepared to go undefeated in the division, which is a huge goal of mine. And if it's a huge goal of mine as a fan, you better damn well believe it's a huge goal for Ryan Poles. It's a huge goal for Matt Eberflus, and it's a huge goal for the team in general. You want to go undefeated in your division. All these guys want to do that. I believe we're going to do that. And for Justin Fields, he wants to prove that, hey, I can do a hell of a lot more than just run around the field. I only ran around the field because I didn't really have anybody blocking for me. Now that they fixed the line, now that he's got the blocks, now that he's going to have the time to release that thing and throw that thing all over the place, you better damn well believe it's going to be singing time around January and February because things are going to get real this year. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you like the show, if you enjoyed what you heard, you love what you see, always feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. And if you're feeling generous, always feel free to cash at me, Erick Coughlin, #Coughlin Pride. Guys, have a good day.